Welcome to my workshop. Now in this video I'm going to show you what I do with all those little offcuts of wood that I get, and I turn them from something like this into charcoal like that. So then I have a product which I can then use on my barbecue at home. And the technique to do it is really very, very simple. So what you need to do is collect up all your pieces of wood over a period of time and sort out the hardwoods like this. This is a bit of ash or a bit of beech from bits of softwood, and you put those aside and they're going to be your firewood. So put all your hardwoods into here. Now what you need is a nice steel box. Now this is a box I happened to make some time ago. As you can see, it's about 18 inches by about a foot that way, so if you want to work in metric, 450 millimetres by 300 millimetres in that direction. You can do it with any kind of old steel container. I've seen people do this with old water tanks, 45-gallon oil drums, anything like that, even large cooking pots. What's important is you've got a nice solid steel box that you can have a fire underneath, and it's got a nice tight fitting lid. And on this lid I've just got a couple of holes at the top just to let the steam out. So what I'm going to do is fill this with all my pieces of hardwood. So when the box is filled up, put the lid on nice and tight, and then you put it on the fire. And you can see that's where you've used up all those little bits of softwood that you've been cutting off. Now for the first half hour or so, you want to get a fairly strong fire underneath, because you want to get a lot of heat inside. Now after about 10 minutes you can see we're starting to see some smoke escaping. And note the colour of the smoke. This is white smoke. White smoke is good, grey smoke is bad. White smoke means that we're actually baking all the moisture out of the wood, and that's what you need in order to make charcoal. Grey smoke means it's burning. At that point you want to stop. Now this is going to take about 4 or 5 hours to do. You don't necessarily have to sit there all the time and guard it, but it's not a bad way to spend the day. I did this for a public demonstration once. Normally I would be doing blacksmithing or something like that, something exciting. But I wasn't feeling very well. It was for somebody, the event was quite an important event to them, so I thought, well, I can't let them down. So I know I'll come and do charcoal burning. And it was probably the most popular demonstration I've ever done in my life. People were absolutely fascinated. And all it is really is a middle-aged bloke sitting next to a fire and keep putting pieces of wood on it. But nobody actually knew where charcoal came from. They all assumed it was something you dug out of the ground, like coal, or, you know, all they know is it mysteriously appeared in their local supermarket and they used it in their barbecue. Now this has been going for about an hour now, so as you can see I've got a decent fire underneath, and there's a lot of smoke, still white smoke, coming out the top. After about 2 hours of doing this, you can really just walk away and leave it, provided you put your fire somewhere where it can't get out of control and cause damage. And then all you need to do is just keep a nice warm heat. So you start off with the fire nice and fierce, get lots and lots of heat in it, really heat the wood up, and then it's just a question of keeping it at temperature. And keep an eye on the colour of the smoke, because that's the clue as to when it's ready to finish. I have been specially asked to do this video by some friends of mine in Canada, some fellow wheelwrights. So if you're watching this, it's nice to talk to you all again. Well, this has now been going for about 3 hours, and as you can see, I've got one hell of a fire underneath it and it's steaming away like a good one. Now what you've got to resist is taking off that lid. That's the only thing that's stopping the contents inside the box bursting into flames, because inside there now it must be remarkably hot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build the fire up until it's really, really hot, and then that's it. I won't be putting any more on it after that. And then we'll leave it to cool down, and it's only when it's cool do we actually take the lid off. Don't ever take the lid off before, otherwise the whole thing is going to burst into flames and it'll be quite nasty. Now this has now had 5 hours on the fire, and as you can see the smoke is now turning. It's no longer white smoke, which is steam. What it actually is grey smoke, which means it's starting to burn. So what I'm going to do now is take this off the fire. Don't do this unless you've got heat-proof gloves. And I'm just going to leave it there to cool down. Well, this has now had a couple of hours to cool down, so let's have a look and see what we've got. And the answer is some pretty good charcoal. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed that video. As you can see, it wasn't that hard to do. Thanks for watching. Have a look at the rest of my videos now and see what you think.